Well, Bridie, we noticed everyone was really twitchy for even the most minor sprint points throughout the day.
Absolutely. A break did get away. 5 guys of all non-threatening positions, and so they were away with a maximum of, I think, 4 or 5 minutes at one stage. And they contested the intermediate sprint for those first top 5 places. But what was really interesting was the effort that went into contesting the intermediate sprint for the peloton for 6th, and you can just see Peter Sagan getting totally shut out by the Vacansoleil rider and then gesturing in his best Slovakian Italian. Unhappy. A good result there for Greipel and Cavendish, who realised that they were taking some points away from Peter. So when things regrouped, the peloton were constantly chasing, and this is where we see Tuft crashing. Orica Green Edge were on the front, and this was at about 4.5 kilometres to go. So even before that, we'd seen them with about 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah, that was a real shame, because they were in a very good position there. They had everyone in a line, and Stewie's now on the front, and he was hoping, because Tuft's like a train, he was hoping to get another K or 2 out of him, would have got him that much closer to the finish. So that was a real kick in the head for them.
And Bridie, didn't we get a tweet from Brett Lancaster that his cluster had fallen off about 7 Ks out? So that's, I don't know how that even happens.
Not predict that kind of thing happens.
Jammed in on the back of your wheel. There's nowhere for it to go, but maybe it's sort of unravelled. But
he's another strength in the lead out that was missing.
The lock ring can come undone.
I see.
Mechanic sack, but anyway.
On to the finish we go.
So what we saw was a great example of those duelling trains. Here's the Amiga Farmer train on the right-hand side of the road, and the Argos Shimano boys protecting their rider. Sagan has shown now that when his team isn't fully invested, he's really good at floating around, and we know he's got some amazing bike skills. He very rarely crashes. But this was an impressive commitment by both Kittel and Cavendish's team side by side.
You can just see how deadly it is. Look where Froome is. He's about 8th wheel there on the right-hand side of Sagan, because they're petrified about losing time. So it's a real touch and go for the GC riders. They've got to put their body on the line.
A very tense last 20 or 30 minutes for them, for sure. What was fantastic of this coverage of the finish that we'll see now is this great. There's Stegman's the final lead-out guy for Cav, Ferrari there, and Kittel on his wheel. Look at the size difference between them, and Cav gets down incredibly low, but Kittel just manages to come around him in time. It was actually a photo finish. It was only centimetres in it, and Sagan over there for 3rd. But yeah, disbelief, as he said, on Cavendish's face. Couldn't understand
Exactly. There's not many people that pass him at 70.
You can just see, so that's Daryl Impey, the Green Edge rider. He was obviously led out Simon Gerrans for that win, and a fantastic sprinter, but there was no other Green Edge rider in the top 60. So a reasonable result to get someone 6th place.
But this is a standard Cavendish setup, and no one's beaten him in this sort of a setup for a handful of years. So has he lost a little bit of his edge, or do you see it the other way, that Kittel's just the man on the rise?
Look, I wonder if when you're going full gas to the last 50 metres, whether or not you realise that there's a guy that might be able to come around you. Maybe he's feeling too confident about his ability there.
Yeah, he definitely was shocked. But this kid's the new sensation of the Tour. He's the fastest guy in the Tour.
And as we've said, confidence is everything. I mean, these guys are feeling unbeatable at the moment, you know.
Yeah, and they have got an incredible sprint train.
Well, Nick, you spent your career working for Robbie McEwen. You know what's inside his head. What would Cav be thinking now that he's getting pipped time and time?
Oh, he'd be ropeable. He would be filthy.
Alan?
He doesn't like being beaten, and he's being beaten constantly. He's won 1 stage. Normally he's won 4 by now.
So from a sports psychologist sort of mindset, we're setting up for perhaps another sprint stage in tonight's stage 13. How can Cav turn that around, or even Matt Goss for us?
I think they surround themselves with the people who keep just saying, you're great, mate, you can do it tonight, and keep reminding him of how many stage wins he's won, how fast he is, this guy's a flash in the pan, we're amazing. You know, it's all about positive affirmations for guys like that, definitely. They don't want to hear facts.
Great stuff. Thanks for that, Doc.